Imagine someone who tried to control you for years, suddenly realizing that you're untouchable, too aware, too grounded, too strong to manipulate. Most people think a narcissist would give up, but the truth is far more subtle. They don't stop. Instead, they use a single hidden strategy designed to regain influence without exposing themselves. If you want to fully understand how narcissists operate and learn to safeguard your peace, hit subscribe. Recognizing these hidden tactics is the key to staying in control of your own life and avoiding manipulation. When a narcissist perceives you as too dangerous to manipulate directly, one of the first tactics they often use is attempting to provoke an emotional reaction. This isn't about open confrontation or honest dialogue. It's a subtle, calculated effort to elicit anger, guilt, frustration, or confusion. By triggering an emotional response, the narcissist can regain a sense of control, even if indirect, because they measure their power by your reactions. They are essentially testing the boundaries of your composure, looking for cracks that indicate vulnerability or a lapse in awareness. The provocations can be small and seemingly inconsequential, such as a dismissive comment, an insinuation, or a passive-aggressive gesture. Each act is designed to prompt a response that confirms they still have influence over your emotional state. Even minor reactions, a flinch, a sigh, or a defensive statement, serve as a form of validation for the narcissist, proving that you are not entirely untouchable and that they can still exert subtle psychological pressure. This behavior also reinforces their ego. Narcissists thrive on control, and seeing that they can provoke a reaction, even indirectly, bolsters their self-image as influential and dominant. It's important to understand that their goal is never about resolution or communication. It is entirely self-serving. Recognizing this tactic allows you to maintain emotional clarity and respond with detachment. By refusing to provide the reaction they are seeking, you neutralize their power, protect your boundaries, and reinforce that your strength lies in remaining composed, aware, and impervious to these manipulative provocations. When a narcissist sees you as too dangerous to manipulate directly, they often turn to triangulation as a tactic. This involves bringing a third party into the dynamic, either subtly or overtly, to provoke jealousy, test your influence, or measure your emotional reactions. Triangulation allows the narcissist to maintain a sense of control without confronting you head-on, which they perceive as risky when dealing with someone they cannot easily manipulate. The purpose of this strategy is multifaceted. By involving another person, whether a friend, coworker, or even a casual acquaintance, the narcissist can gauge your response, observe how you handle perceived challenges, and determine whether you are still vulnerable to indirect manipulation. They may spread information selectively, make comparisons, or imply that others are evaluating or noticing your behavior, all designed to elicit a subtle emotional reaction or insecurity. Triangulation also reinforces their ego by giving them a sense of power without direct exposure. It allows them to manipulate the narrative and maintain influence while reducing the risk of rejection or confrontation. In their mind, even a slight reaction from you validates that they still hold some measure of control. Understanding this behavior is critical because it highlights the narcissist's reliance on indirect strategies when faced with someone who cannot be easily controlled. Triangulation is not about reconciliation, fairness, or honest communication. It is a calculated test of your boundaries and influence. Recognizing this pattern allows you to maintain emotional detachment, protect your autonomy, and prevent the narcissist from regaining power through subtle, manipulative tactics. When a narcissist realizes that you are too aware and strong to manipulate directly, they may resort to the silent treatment or withdrawal as a psychological tactic. This behavior is a form of indirect control designed to destabilize you emotionally without requiring confrontation or explanation. By refusing to engage, responding minimally, or creating emotional distance, they attempt to provoke anxiety, self-doubt, or frustration, measuring whether their absence can still elicit a reaction. The silent treatment functions as a tool to reassert dominance subtly. The narcissist thrives on controlling the emotional environment around them, and withdrawing attention or communication forces you to navigate uncertainty. They monitor your responses, even from afar, to assess whether you feel unsettled, guilty, or concerned about their silence. Any internal or external reaction validates their sense of influence and power, confirming that they can still impact your emotional state indirectly. This tactic also protects the narcissist's ego. By creating distance, they avoid direct confrontation or risk of rejection while simultaneously manipulating the situation in their favor. It allows them to maintain an illusion of control while avoiding accountability or exposure to vulnerability. Recognizing this behavior is critical because it is not about reflection, remorse, or healthy communication. The silent treatment is an ego-driven strategy meant to provoke emotional responses and test boundaries. Understanding that their withdrawal is manipulative empowers you to maintain composure, resist the urge to react, and reinforce your own emotional autonomy. By refusing to give them the response they seek, you neutralize their strategy and demonstrate that your strength lies in awareness, detachment, and control over your own emotions. When a narcissist sees you as too dangerous to manipulate, they often turn to spreading misinformation or distorting the truth as a covert strategy. This behavior is designed to confuse, undermine, or destabilize you without requiring direct confrontation. By selectively sharing false or misleading information, exaggerating events, or reframing reality, they attempt to manipulate perceptions and maintain a sense of psychological influence over you. The purpose of this tactic is to create uncertainty and doubt. The narcissist thrives when others question their own judgments, and distorting facts allows them to test whether you are vulnerable to confusion or emotional disruption. They may spread rumors, reinterpret past interactions, or twist minor details into evidence that supports their self-serving narrative. Even subtle distortions can provoke reactions, drawing you into a mental and emotional pattern that benefits the narcissist's ego. This behavior also reinforces the narcissist's sense of control. By manipulating reality from a distance, they can maintain the illusion of power without exposing themselves to direct rejection or challenge. It allows them to assert influence indirectly while keeping their own image intact. Understanding this pattern is essential because it highlights the narcissist's reliance on psychological tactics rather than honest communication. Their goal is not clarity, reconciliation, or truth. It is to test your boundaries, provoke doubt, and assert dominance covertly. Recognizing when they are using distortion empowers you to maintain mental clarity, resist manipulation, and protect your perception of reality. Awareness of this tactic ensures that their hidden strategies do not compromise your emotional stability or autonomy. When a narcissist perceives you as too difficult to manipulate directly, they may shift their focus to charming or love-bombing others around you. This strategy is subtle, indirect, and designed to reassert influence without confronting you head-on. By winning favor, admiration, or attention from mutual acquaintances, co-workers, or social circles, they create a sense of indirect control and test whether their social influence still holds weight. The goal of this tactic is twofold. First, it reinforces the narcissist's ego by demonstrating that they can still attract attention, admiration, or loyalty even when they cannot manipulate you directly. It feeds their need for validation and reinforces their self-image as powerful and influential. Second, it can provoke emotional responses from you, whether consciously or subconsciously. Seeing them receive attention or admiration may trigger jealousy, doubt, or concern. Reactions the narcissist monitors closely to assess your emotional boundaries. This behavior is strategic rather than emotional. The narcissist is rarely acting out of genuine connection or concern for others. Their actions are calculated to maintain dominance and influence in a social context. It allows them to exert control indirectly while avoiding direct risk of confrontation or rejection from you. Recognizing this tactic is crucial because it highlights how a narcissist extends their manipulative strategies beyond one-on-one interactions. Understanding that their charm toward others is self-serving and designed to provoke reactions empowers you to maintain emotional distance. By refusing to be drawn into comparisons or social manipulations, you protect your boundaries and reinforce that your autonomy and emotional stability cannot be undermined by indirect strategies. When a narcissist sees you as too strong to manipulate directly, they often turn to deploying guilt or moral pressure as a subtle, calculated strategy. This tactic is designed to test your boundaries, provoke a reaction, or create a sense of obligation without requiring direct confrontation. By implying that you are responsible for their feelings, well-being, or perceived hardships, they attempt to elicit compliance, sympathy, or self-doubt, all of which temporarily restore a sense of influence and control. This approach works because narcissists are skilled at framing themselves as victims or martyrs. They may emphasize sacrifices they have made, exaggerate hardships, or hint at how their needs or feelings are being ignored. Even minor gestures, comments, or reminders can carry underlying moral weight, meant to provoke guilt or a sense of responsibility. By applying this psychological pressure, the narcissist measures whether you can be nudged into reacting emotionally or adjusting your behavior in their favor. Importantly, this tactic is entirely self-serving. The narcissist is not motivated by concern, fairness, or genuine communication. Their goal is to manipulate your emotions and reinforce their ego. The moral pressure they apply is a tool to regain influence, gauge your response, and assert subtle dominance, not an invitation for understanding or compromise. Recognizing this pattern is critical for maintaining emotional independence. Awareness allows you to identify attempts at guilt or moral manipulation and respond with detachment rather than reaction. By holding firm to your boundaries and refusing to internalize their pressure, you neutralize their strategy, maintain control over your own emotions, and prevent the narcissist from regaining power through covert, ego-driven tactics. Ultimately, when a narcissist sees you as too dangerous to manipulate directly, every subtle action they take is rooted in one thing: protecting their ego and regaining a sense of control. From provoking emotional reactions to triangulating others, using silent treatment, spreading misinformation, charming those around you, or applying moral pressure, each tactic is carefully designed to test boundaries, measure influence, and maintain a feeling of dominance. None of these behaviors are about understanding, connection, or accountability. They are entirely self-serving and calculated. The consistent thread through all these strategies is that the narcissist is obsessed with maintaining a sense of power over a situation they can no longer fully control. Even when you have disengaged, their mind continues to seek validation, test your emotional limits, and preserve the illusion of superiority. Their covert behaviors demonstrate that their focus is never on you as a person, but on your perceived utility, vulnerability, or ability to feed their ego. Understanding this is essential because it shifts the perspective from blaming yourself to recognizing the manipulation for what it truly is: an ego-driven struggle to assert influence where it no longer exists. Awareness of these hidden tactics empowers you to remain emotionally grounded, enforce boundaries, and disengage from their attempts to destabilize you psychologically. In the end, the narcissist's trick is not a clever scheme against you personally. It is a reflection of their insecurity and need for control. By refusing to react, maintain composure, and protect your autonomy, you neutralize their influence entirely. Recognizing their patterns ensures that their manipulations fail, leaving you in full control of your emotions, decisions, and peace of mind. When a narcissist sees you as too dangerous to manipulate, the patterns of their behavior reveal a consistent strategy. Every action is aimed at protecting their ego and regaining a sense of control. From provoking emotional reactions to triangulating others, using silent treatment, spreading misinformation, charming those around you, or applying moral pressure, these tactics are calculated and self-serving. None are motivated by genuine remorse, understanding, or connection. They exist solely to test boundaries, assert influence, and maintain a sense of dominance. The underlying reality is that narcissists are obsessed with control. When confronted with someone who is aware, grounded, and untouchable, their ego cannot tolerate loss of influence. Their covert behaviors are an attempt to regain what they have lost, to reaffirm their superiority, and to continue feeding the validation that their self-esteem depends on. Every subtle provocation or manipulation is a reflection of insecurity, not a reflection of your worth or actions. Recognizing these patterns is critical because it empowers you to maintain clarity, emotional independence, and strong boundaries. Awareness allows you to see through manipulative tactics and refuse to engage in the games they attempt to play. By remaining composed and detached, you neutralize their strategies entirely and protect your autonomy. In essence, the narcissist's secret tricks are not clever moves against you personally. They are attempts to preserve an ego that cannot handle loss. The ultimate power lies with you. By staying grounded, aware, and unreactive, you maintain control of your life, emotions, and peace of mind, rendering their manipulations ineffective.